Hey guys, I'm Tyrantt, and I'm here today to share my FPV journey and what FPV means to me. I started flying around 3 years ago after I saw a video on YouTube about this reverse wall ride. At the time, I had no idea what drones really were, other than they could fly in the sky and take pretty pictures. So I was pretty surprised when I saw this video of someone flying pretty low to the ground and then they pop up and do flips and rolls, and it was pretty intriguing. And then all of a sudden, this person just started flying up the side of the building and they do a 180, and then they're just climbing up the side of this building wall going backwards. And to me, that was just completely mind-blowing, and my first thought was, I have to do this. So I started immediately researching how to fly FPV and if I could even do it, because, you know, it could be really expensive for all I know. And I learned that you could purchase a radio or one of the controllers and fly a simulator on your computer. So I was like, great, this is an awesome way to get into the hobby, to see if I even like it. So as soon as I got my radio, I jumped on my simulator. I chose Velocidrone, and I was probably flying around an hour every day for 2-3 months or something like that. And it was a little hard at first because the controls weren't as natural to me as I expected, because I'm a gamer, so I'm kind of used to like one control going forward and strafing left and the other kind of looking around. But the controls were a little bit switched for acro mode. So it took a little bit of time to get used to it, but once I kind of figured it out, it started to become easy, and now it's like second nature to me. But once I bought my first Whoop, I was just immediately hooked. Being able to go from the computer to flying in the sky in my front yard was just an incredible feeling. It felt so amazing to be able to fly around my yard at a speed that I normally would never achieve, you know, by running alone. So from there, I just could not stop flying. If I wasn't flying in my front yard or going to the park, I was constantly on the simulator. And after about 6 months or so, from the beginning of when I started flying on a simulator, I decided to build my first 5-inch drone. And that was a little tough at first, trying to learn what all the parts do and the best ones to get. But man, that was an experience as well. Being able to go really high in the sky with a lot of power, it was absolutely exhilarating. Altogether, I would say it probably took me a good 3 months to get comfortable with flying, 6 months to really start to enjoy freestyle, and about a year before I was really comfortable with being able to do different types of freestyle tricks and learning new tricks and constantly just trying to add more tricks in my book. And after about a year, I finally decided to take it a step further, and I participated in IGOW 3, or the International Game of Whoop. It was a freestyle competition, well, not freestyle, it's more like challenges, where you have to complete various tricks in order to pass the week. And my first week was probably my most memorable, because I just thought I was an average pilot, and as soon as I put my first video out, like, so many people were commenting about how I was going to finals, and it was just so amazing to see like all that hard work I put for learning how to fly and learn new tricks, like, finally, you know, pay off. IGOW was tough, but it was so rewarding because you could easily track your progress and notice how much you've improved over the course of 10, 20, 30 weeks. But I would say the biggest challenge of all with flying in general, not just with IGOW, is just learning how to troubleshoot and repair your drones. Fortunately, though, the community is there to help you. They helped me out a lot, which without the community, there's no way I'd be able to stick around, because some of the things to troubleshoot, it's a little bit daunting at first, but as you run into these issues, you'll start remembering and you'll know what to check, and eventually you get used to it. But the community is always very supportive and welcoming, and usually very happy to help. And that's kind of where I see myself at now. Rather than being the person always asking the questions, I'm always offering support wherever I can. Not as much with troubleshooting as I would like, because I'm still kind of... I'm not the most knowledgeable with troubleshooting, but I'm very knowledgeable when it comes to freestyle and teaching people how to freestyle. I've offered a lot of one-on-one with people, and it's always nice to see them go into like a coaching session and leaving an hour later with a very noticeable improvement. And to me, that's pretty rewarding in itself. I'm always trying to improve myself, and I would say the biggest tip I could give to new pilots is always try to improve yourself as well. Don't go into a flight session and just, I don't know, just cruise around and maybe do a roll. You should always go into a flight session with the goal in mind. And this is what I do. Even today, you know, I'll have a trick of the day that I want to do. And so I'll start my session off with like power loops, for example. And I'll try to incorporate power loops wherever I can in my freestyle. And if I mess up, I will analyze how I messed up. So let's say that you got to do a power loop over a tree and you kind of do a pitch back and you don't quite go over the tree and you go forward. So then you kind of just take a quick mental break over, you know, the course of a second and be like, okay, what went wrong? What happened? Well, what happened was I didn't make it over the tree. And then you think, what could I have done differently? Well, I didn't go over the tree because I, you know, tried to complete the flip too early. So next time, what I should do is keep looking at the sky a little bit longer. That way, you know, if I hold a little bit longer when I complete the flip, I'll go over the object and flip back around. And I do that with every flight. Every crash, I always analyze, regardless of what the trick is, to figure out what did I do wrong and how can I fix it, and then I'll immediately try that trick again. So always go into a flight session with some sort of goal in mind and always analyze every crash. Because as I've told like 100 people over the last few years, if you're not crashing, you're not learning. FPV has been a wonderful journey for me. I've loved every moment of it. There's always some frustrating parts, but that comes with the territory. But I've loved every moment of it. It's been so much fun, and honestly, without FPV, I'd probably be bored on the couch watching Netflix right now. It's just, I've tried so many hobbies in the past, and nothing has given me more joy than being able to freestyle around my front yard or go into a park or wherever I want with these tiny little whoops. And, you know, one final piece of advice I would give to new pilots is don't try to build your own the first time. Get a good quality bind and fly kit. Something that has everything you need, so that all you have to do is turn it on and start flying. And this right here is one of my main whoops, and this is equivalent to a Meteor 75 Pro. The only difference between this and a Meteor 75 Pro is I use a slightly different camera with a different canopy or a mount to hold my camera, but everything else is the same. So I would definitely suggest getting a Meteor 75 Pro kit or maybe a Meteor 65 Pro kit. These are great quality quads, and they're definitely a great starting point. And not only that, but it comes with the goggles and the radio and even battery. So it comes with everything you need. So yeah, and just getting a good quad, putting in the time and the dedication to at least fly 15 minutes a day. If you could do 15 minutes a day, you will see progress over time. Obviously, the more time you can put into a flight session, the quicker the progress is going to be. So if you're interested in FPV, get yourself a good quality beginner kit and get yourself a simulator, and start flying on the simulator and get comfortable flying on a simulator before you start taking your drone out into the real world, because it's much better to learn and crash in a computer game than it is in real life, because with enough crashes you will break stuff, but that comes with the territory. You will break stuff. That's completely normal. Just buy a replacement part, swap it out, and you're good to go. But yeah, so that's a little bit about myself and my journey over the last few years. I'm currently in IGOW 4, again, International Game of Whoops. I'm in the final 4 right now, and it'll hopefully finish here in a little bit. And then after that, I have a project that I will hopefully be announcing later this week, which should be pretty exciting. So hopefully by the time you see this video, you will be more than happy to come and join my project. With that being said, Tyrantt out.